Beads of sweat trickled down her face. She thought what lay below of the most importance. But her folly was the assumption that everything between was trifle. She was wrong. Marks on her billowing gown were marred at the knees from a crawling she would prefer not to recall. Her hands were cut and smeared with grime from fighting off a memory. She sought to do the impossible, and suffered the impossible to get there. As she looked around in a small chamber of reflective white stone, the contrast of its cleanliness pushed back the image of dirty suffering and ruin. She couldn't help but think upon the last time she was laid so low. So long ago, and so distant a memory, yet so necessary to conjure up to the fore of her mind. Pushing through a door, she was once again presented with the standing frame of bones intent on subjecting her to these torments. That's what she would call them now. Torments. Only hours ago they were pesky irritants, a fool's set of trials, a hazing ritual, an initiate's bane. Not an obstacle for a powerful sorceress. But she knew now that her underestimation was a grave mistake, one she would not make again. The confident gait she masterfully syncopated with the flow of her dress, replaced with a hobbled, weak-kneed walk, as her mind continued to fight body, while fending off the images of what she had just witnessed. Approaching the eerie skeleton, draped in its ritualistic funerary garb, she met its blank gaze with heavy lungs and labored breath, and her staggered self could think of only one thing to say. "Thank you for reminding me why I am here. Destruction to Absalom, death to them all, and oblivion to follow." And the servant of Nimbaloth, for what else could it possibly be, once again silently pointed the way, with dreadful and empty regard. The emergence of the adamantine dragon came as little surprise when the heroes found a dragon's horde. Again speaking alone in the draconic tongue, the dragon expressed pleasure mixed with veiled threat to its would-be scion, Nirgash. The dragon's interest in Belcora seemed to only stretch so far as her disposal and prompt ousting from what it considered to be its territory within the vaults. It also offered a strong implication that its wish for the kobolds to bend the knee in its presence would not be a measure of lifting them up to their personal glory, but rather strict subservience. Nick said little about the dragon again, but did dare to voice his concerns with the ancient creature's motives. For the time, the heroes would venture through the ebon doors, having been gifted a pittance from the horde to see their way forward. And beyond the doors of ages past, they found themselves within the procession of the temple they expected,
Raphael's power through the Shaika, an existence through all simultaneous time, began to give him flashes of insight to that dark place. And upon meeting a creature known as Lady's Whisper, a terrifying distant relative to lesser deaths themselves, he was able to determine that this menacing thing would guide them through the original initiation trials supplicants of Dread Nimbaloth would have experienced an immeasurable time ago. First among them would have seen an eternal fall down a bottomless pit, were it not for the superior vision and keen eye of Beryl Ferrickfist. And very confusingly, the second of the trials was soon upon them, as they were guided to a room where initiates were sent should they have failed, and attacked by a baleful wisp of dreadful make.
No one or few people here are strangers to changes in identity. For myself, I grew up as Dave for a long time, have had many nicknames for various reasons in various places. And when I moved to Vancouver, I switched to my first name, Freeman, which was a bit of a process and transition. And in fact, I worked with James when I did make the change, and I remember him supporting me quite a bit and nudging people and saying, call him what he wants to be called. Of course, everyone here has probably their own little tidbit and story related to that. You know, we all know that, we all know Scott's story about Buddy Barber. It still cracks me up. I swear, I started naming characters in random video games Buddy Barber. I can't get it out of my head.
Iconic.
It is iconic. Cam, of course, being non-binary, going by they, them pronouns. And I got to thinking about, like, you know, essential identity and, you know, how often we resist change and in some cases, you know, are better off embracing it, especially for another person's sake. And I know it's kind of a weird thing to relate these things together, but like the remaster of Pathfinder really changed a lot of names for a lot of things. And some of those, you know, rubbed some people the wrong way because they're so classic. They're so ingrained in us. The one that the big one that comes to mind for me is Magic Missile. You know, it's been renamed to Force Barrage. We've talked about it before and
Force Barrage
on this podcast in some capacity. But you know, I think it's really interesting that we have some changes that like feel better, you know, for kind of an arbitrary reason. Maybe there isn't as much nostalgia attached to it, and then some that feel bad because there's too much nostalgia attached to it. In some ways we treat some of these changes like quite personally, like we might in our own identities. But in some cases we kind of shrug them off. And I just thought, I thought I'd ask anyone here, like who thinks there's some really good changes to the remaster in the wording and the naming conventions, and what are some really bad examples as well, and what would you do different?
I personally hate anything they renamed to not be offensive to a real world culture. I find that incredibly offensive, and in this game that I run at my own table and can do whatever I want, I'm going to go online and be somebody else's problem about it. No, actually, I think it's super cool. They should do more of that because, you know, using somebody's religious thing to have connotations with evil undead creatures is probably not, you know, super cool. Don't actually do that. Don't be an asshole to people.
Can you give us some specific examples?
Like renaming Phylactery to Soul Cage.
Right. Okay. Yeah. When that happened, I was like, oh, I'm going to go check what phylactery is specifically to see why they changed it. And I didn't really quite understand the change because a phylactery is like a box that is on a strap that you put like around your arm. And within the box contains like a piece of parchment with like holy script on it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, retroactively, I was wondering why they called it phylactery in the first place. it didn't really, it's like suddenly that didn't translate. Like they had taken something and completely changed it, took it out of its context.
Yep.
And I guess maybe that's the reasoning why they were like, oh, well, that doesn't really apply anymore. It doesn't really it never really made sense. So I guess we'll change it. But yeah.
What's his face? Gygax was not a good person and was responsible for a lot of things. Like, I appreciate separating the art from the artist, but
I mean, I don't know much about Gygax. Like, I've never read his autobiography or anything, but like, would it be fair to say that a lot of his came out of ignorance as opposed to like maliciousness?
Well, that depends. Do you think genetic predeterminism is good or bad?
Yeah, sure. Destiny. Yeah.
There's like maybe one thing that they've changed that I haven't been like either positive or okay, whatever. I don't think I've had any that I've been like, that's bad. They shouldn't have done that one.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm not necessarily talking about controversial options. Just gut feeling.
Yeah, I love Force Barrage.
I don't mind Force Barrage, but Magic Missile feels
Force Barrage
so
sucks.
Classic. I actually, if you look at the words Magic Missile, they're also silly. They're no less silly than Force Barrage.
That's what I'm saying. Force Barrage is way more descriptive than Magic Missile. Like,
a very good friend of the show, Gabe, has said to me in the past that he hates collective memories, which used to be legend lore, and like collective memories is like more descriptive, but legend lore is like more epic sounding. It has like a poeticness to it.
I prefer cornucopia over stupid ass Goodberry.
Is that what they renamed it?
Yeah.
That's really good, actually. That's
cornucopia is great.
I had
Goodberry
no idea.
fucking sucks.
it's a berry. That's good.
Oh, this berry is so fucking good.
It's so on the nose. Yeah.
OMG.
James or Dunk, you got any examples?
Well, having been so familiar with the rules, Premaster, I have noticed all the changes, and I find them all cool and good. Yeah, no, nothing glaringly stupid for me so far.
That's fair. That's fair. James, I'm sure you've got a few up your sleeve. Come on now.
Yeah, but I don't just want to shit on things. So I'm trying to find ones that are actually better, and there aren't a lot. I genuinely don't think they did themselves too many favors. Like, I get why it was all done, but Dimension Door to Translocate can just fuck right off.
How do you feel about Spider Climb to Gecko Grip?
I don't care about that. That's kind of like a
okay
side grade.
Yeah, that's a side grade.
Yeah.
Glitter Dust to Revealing Light needs to get the fuck out of here. Any of the equipment that used to have like a School of Magic, like Staff of Abjuration to Staff of Protection, like I'm just out. Like getting rid of the Schools of Magic was one of the worst things I think they've ever done.
Yeah, that was more of if anything, that was more of a legal thing.
I know. I get why it was done. I'll never be on board with that. If you're gonna run your own game, you should put Magic Schools back in. It's better for everyone. But like Broom of Flying to Flying Broomstick is fine. Ever Burning Torch to Everlight Crystal, it's fine. Like they're fine. Like
They're all
nothing.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like even Force Barrage, I don't like. It's so edgelordy. Like I liked how goofy Magic Missile was, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm the wrong guy for this. I'm not a big change. Because after the first week, it's just all kind of bullshit.
Change.
True Seeing to True Sight, True Strike to Sure Strike. Like it's all just objective side grades to me. Whale of the Banshee to Whales of the Damned is pretty badass, but I don't know. I think they're all just side steps. Other than the equipment, a lot of the equipment is either a positive or a negative based on whether or not it had a School of Magic. If it had a School of Magic attached to it, like a staff, I think it's objectively worse. If it didn't, I think it's way more descriptive, like Tinder Twig to Matchstick, Tanglefoot Bag to Glue Bomb. I don't know. Yeah. I genuinely don't care. I'm going to call them whatever I call them, and if you don't like it, find another show.
Bam, you heard it here first. Get the
You've
fuck
been
out.
There you
rejected
go.
from stemming the tide.
Well, I'm not gonna relearn the parlance for like I try to use reactive strike, but I'm gonna say off guard.
You
9
mean
times
attack
out
of
10.
opportunity?
You mean
Yeah,
flat-footed?
or sure.
He says what he says. Don't
He
you
says
get
what
it?
he says, yeah. No.
Yeah.
The point was clearly made.
Yeah,
Was
you,
very
you all
clearly
know
made
what I'm
in that
saying.
one. Yeah. We all
Call
know.
it whatever you want.
Yeah.
The reason they made these changes are for legal reasons, so it's your table. Make your own decisions. But add schools of magic back in.
I want to get in one more before we get into the game here.
Yeah.
Maze into Quandary.
Yeah. that sucks.
That's
Fucking
shit. Yeah.
lame. Why not Labyrinth?
Even like Ray of Enfeeblement and just turned into Enfeeble. You know, it's the reason this popped up for me was I started playing a little bit of Pillars of Eternity, which is like the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, made by Obsidian Entertainment, and both were, and I was just kind of like scanning some of the spells, the wizard spells and that, and I realized like, oh, very simple light touches in the naming convention, still recognizably classic, but a little bit different. For example, can anyone tell me what Jolting Touch might be related to?
Shocking grasp.
Shocking Grasp.
And objectively worse.
Well, I disagree. I think genuinely just as effective. Like, rather than, just like lightning touch, or lightning tickle, as the sum of the Paizo ones seem to
I
have
like
done.
lightning tickle.
Oh,
You would.
tell me more.
Something like fetid caress. There are plenty of options in that game alone that are like, they're so familiar from the classic like D&D kind of stuff, but like just slightly changed, and you're like, okay, no, I literally know what that is by its name and by what I already know from D&D. And I thought that was kind of a neat little thing, so I made a note for this interbanter. Arcane Veil is just Magic Shield, which I think is probably better. In any case, speaking of multiple names for the same thing, you're about to fight yet another wisp of a different caliber, a Dread Wisp, which I think Scott complained recently about wondering where the research was on that, because you all gave up on your research at some point. Could have found out about this in advance, but you did not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm prepared to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure we talked about it and you were like, nah, you're fine.
I feel like that's what happened.
Yeah.
Also
It usually
feel
piles
like
up against me,
that's-
doesn't it?
Blame Barn.
Dread is a common word in this adventure. Dread Nimbaloth. So, who knows?
Ooh, I see my rolls are off to a great start.
Let's go ahead and roll initiative. Because this skull-like wisp with this dread ambient light flickering on your faces has made itself known in this fetid, stinking room. What'd you all get?
Oh, me just always rolling the best numbers on the die. It starts with a 2, and that's where it stops.
Oh, that's where the buck stops.
Yep.
So what'd you get?
A 21.
Wonderful.
Yep. I rolled a 2.
Anyone else?
I get the exact same thing. 2 on the die for a 21.
Yay!
Okay. Wow, exact
Equally
same thing.
reluctant.
I would like to preface this with a suck it Barn,
Mhm.
and I got 31.
Come on. What's a synonym for stuck barn?
Fuck
31,
you,
okay.
Barn.
And Raphael?
Vacuum stable.
Vacuum stable. All right, you have a hero point. Cam doesn't get me
I got
on
him.
witticisms much, but there it is.
He knows how hard this combat's going to be.
Yeah. Is this
You're right, I
an aberration, fey, mutant, or undead?
You know
or
it.
from one of the planes other than material plane? Okay.
You know
then, that'll be a +1. I'm going to destabilize the timeline. I pass my flat check with an 18, so that's a 35 initiative.
Ooh,
Perfect.
make mine
I was wondering where all those
32.
extra rolls were. 35 and 32. Why didn't you roll in the... come on, Scott.
I did a perception check again.
Classic.
They're side by side, and in my defense, they both say perception right next to them, and they both say plus 17 right next to them.
You know you can roll in
am
the
I?
combat tracker, right? There's like a button to just hit.
Not for me.
Done. No,
'Cause I don't open that page.
Well, we know who's strategizing on initiative order and who's not. Top of the order is going to be Raphael. Let me just quickly check something.
I go by feel.
Okay. Yeah, Ruff, you're up.
All right. We don't want any trouble. Anyway, we can talk our way out of this. He starts off in common.
Dreadwisp's known conversationalists.
At least he's trying.
If you're expecting a response, you do not get one.
Yeah, okay. I'm guessing we're fighting then.
I don't think it's here to parlay, Ruff.
Yeah, probably not. First action. Sure strike, he says in character.
If only there was research we could have done on this before time.
Yeah.
Shuni's awfully sure of himself. Eh?
Second action. Let's do a spell strike with let's do cold damage. Let's do Ray of Frost. Spell strike with Ray of Frost. Here we go.
It's actually another one. Sure strike from True Strike. Shit move.
It's a 32 to hit.
That will hit.
19 points slashing
Wait.
Oh, wait.
and 19 points of cold.
Cold. Okay. That seems to be as effective as it ought to be. And that's your turn?
Yeah, that's all 3 actions.
Oh, that's you. Yeah. Okay. Good first attack. End of your turn. Please make me a will save.
Ooh, an aura. Take a cam point, Freeman, for remembering the aura.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a 34.
Yeah,
when I get
that's
a regular
Yeah,
success,
no.
I get a crit.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big success. Yeah. You're good.
Goddamn right.
And Harold, you're up.
Harold is up and will exploit vulnerability.
Rude. Rude.
Okay. So that is going to be a 36.
That's a critical success.
Ooh.
On the dot. Yep.
So I will take the mortal weakness, which,
Yeah.
if y'all remember, also helps out Duncan.
Oh, because
So-
you shared weakness. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
So it's a minus 10 to vitality.
Oh yeah, they got vitality, 10 weakness. Yeah.
And then for my next... Oh,
I'll just because you got a critical success and it's on that. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some information. Yeah, you lowest save is Fortitude, and I'll give you 2 options to learn some stuff about this creature. You want attacks, passives, defenses?
I want to know what the aura is all about.
Yeah, as long as it is illuminated. So, so far you've known that these things can illuminate themselves and then go invisible. They're naturally invisible. Usually they're a better advantage when invisible, but this one, the light that it emits will actually instill fear within you if you fail. So
Okay.
you're looking at, frightened conditions.
Watch out. Its light will make you horrified. Just said they have a special attack, maybe.
Yeah, so they do a draining touch, which will do void damage. And if they crit, it'll drain you.
Nice. Do they travel in packs?
Do they travel in packs? Not that you're aware of.
Okay. Then
Although
Harold.
there is lore on wisps that gather together. I don't know if we ever covered it, but it would have been a long time ago.
Very true. Harold will skirt around and get into flanking with Ruff. Final move will strike out with the cleaver.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, natty motherfucking 20, baby.
No.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
And it.
Amazing first round from Harold.
That is going to be 36 points of damage.
Holy shit. 36 points of damage, plus 10 for the mortal weakness, plus 2d6 bleed.
Well, bam.
Do ghost skulls bleed?
Well, it's because it's not a skull. It just has the image of a skull. These things are like, they're naturally invisible, and they have like a spongy like quality to them. As far as I remember, maybe I could be making that up, but that's what's always been in my head. and holy shit. One sec. Yeah. So this thing. I'm just gonna forgo everything real quick. Harold, you feel the trickling of dread, fear wash over you, but you quickly recover as this thing like basically panics, disappears, and then dies of its bleed damage. Combat over.
We love that.
Just fucking shit wrecked.
It had exactly 6 HP left, and I just skipped its turn to see what the bleed was, and it was 6. Yeah, you just see like a little puff of dust off the floor. You're like, it's got to be over there somewhere.
Well, good thing I just sharpened this thing.
God
I was
damn.
expecting more out of that.
Yep, I'm sure you were. Yeah. I thought it was really fun. You were like, "Oh, Freeman knows exactly how hard this fight is." Yep, real easy.
Was that the test? Do we think that was the test?
That must have been one of them.
Did I think I revealed to you, Raphael, about this room a little bit info? Do you remember?
This room in particular. No, not about this room. Oh yeah, this is a room where those who went through the process were found wanting. But it does seem counterintuitive because we just murked the previous test.
So you might imagine that those found wanting were sent in here and then maybe just like killed by like wisps like that. You know, people that aren't big warriors like a lot of you are.
All right, back to the friend of Nimbaloth.
Well, maybe we should take a quick look around here, just, before we move on. Thorough search.
Is that your roundabout way of saying thorough search?
You goddamn right.
With a 25, you do not spot anything out of the ordinary.
Must be nothing.
Back to the ladies' whisper, then.
You're going to say ladies' lumbotomy.
You're going to say ladies' room.
I wanted to say
Back to
ladies'
the ladies'
lament
room.
because that alliteration feels correct, but
Yeah.
here we are.
So you exit this room and find that Lady's Whisper has kind of reapproached the. It was a little like closer to the room, and now it's like right in front of the throne, kind of stone throne that it was sitting on, and it sort of seems to eye you, and then turns its back on you and walks over to the other double doors to the east, and it goes as far as to open it and continue on.
I scout.
Sure.
Ruff will detect the magics.
Okay. And you come into a little 10-foot wide corridor that immediately banks to the north. The Lady's Whisper continues on and opens another set of double doors. And you see it opens to this room with like 4 large alcoves. They look like larger basins like you've seen before with like fetid water within them. You've seen wisps and form in them before in various different... You've seen them like across the Abomination Vaults, especially the last few levels. And you can see there's that same dread kind of like glowing light in this room. But as she steps in, the light dims and then disappears. So you get the feeling that there's more wisps in this room. And they have made themselves invisible with her approach. She continues through the room all the way to the other side. And there is a set of stairs that leads downward. And at its bottom, it banks to the left and the right. And she just casually takes the right and goes down further into the temple. Anyone can click and we activate the scene. And she keeps to the right and continues along, assuming you follow, which leads to a single door. It turns into like a 5-foot wide hallway eventually and leads to a single door. And she opens the door and continues on and into a massive chamber with 60-foot high ceilings. But the chamber is mostly stark.
I can't believe we're on the bottom floor.
Can't believe it, eh? Here we are.
Level up.
No level up.
Come on, level up.
You enter this large room that's 50 feet wide, about 30 feet long, 60-foot ceilings. As you enter the room, you see on the northern wall, like you kind of just come through on a door, there is a single basin, single 5-foot wide basin with fetid roots and water in it. There are 2 metal tubes in the eastern wall. And you can see kind of within the tube, or actually it looks more like a pipe. There's like an iris-like mechanism about a foot across. It's like kind of blocks the way. And to the south, there are 2 separate double doors, Scott, that are made of black stone. And then to the west is a single gray stone door that is carved with shapes of swirling mist. The Lady's Whisper marches her way to the middle southernmost portion of this chamber, kind of in between the 2 double doors, and simply points at the single door.
For the listeners, these are actual double doors. Just saying.
The other one was 2. God damn it.
Ruff will head over to that door, and while taking a sidelong glance at the Lady's Whisper, he'll pull out the brass ear and just give it a little listen.
The brass ear. For a second there, I thought you said brazier. Really funny. Yeah, you give it a little listen, and you hear nothing.
Everybody be on your guard. Of all the treacherous places we've been, this is gonna be the worst. And if we lose now, there might not be anyone that could follow us down here. So truly we should prepare ourselves for the worst.
Ruff tightens the grip on his sword and gives a nod to everybody in the group, waiting for them to return it before he opens yonder door.
Nod.
Nick silently thinks to himself, were you guys relaxing before? But he kind of steals himself as well.
Harold just
Cheeky
grips on the
bastard.
cleaver, that like squeaking sound of squeezing real tight on leather. And he nods.
I like that Duncan's humor, it just becomes cheeky, internalized dialogue for Nick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got a real good, like, Happy Days kind of, or was it Happy Days that had the monologue? I don't know.
I don't remember. You open the door.
We do. And step in.
You step in, short 5-foot wide hallway that opens to an irregularly shaped room. As soon as you step into the larger portion of this room, you note at the back of the room on the western side is a giant jade statue of a cracked and chipped skeleton in a burial shroud. The skull within this statue clenches a bundle of swamp weeds within its teeth. A familiar symbol, but as a whole, the iconography is a bit new. Go ahead without a check and give Raphael with the Nimbaloth lore that this is a rather rarer depiction of Nimbaloth herself. The other thing that stands out and probably sets you to a bit of a nervousness is that you are surrounded by small slits in the walls all around you.
What the hell are these slits?
I am not sure. And Beryl will try to peer into one.
Yeah, you peer into one and you don't see anything.
Is there like an empty room behind it, or?
Sorry. Yeah. You can see like corridors, a corridor within the slit of one side. So, and if you peer into another one, you can see the corridor follows along the edge of the wall. And on each side of this room, the north and the south, there is like corridors that follow along these slits. Each side has 6 in total.
It just reminds me of the movie X when the girl, or is it the girl or is it Kid Cudi? I can't remember. Someone puts her eye up against the side of the barn to look through the hole, and then the woman is on the other side and just puts a pitchfork through it.
Oof.
If anyone's seen that movie, real good.
Never even heard of it. X.
It used to be called Twitter.
I believe these were meant for archers to kill intruders. It does not appear there is anyone back there now, though.
Ruff, roll me a Abomination Vaults lore. If you want. Again,
If you got the cojones.
could mean something bad for you, because you are now pushing beyond the lore of the vaults themselves and to the origins of this temple, which is something you could not know until the future, is how I'm rolling this. So there's a part of you that is able to reach into the future, but with the chance of repercussions.
Oh, I'm gonna roll. It's 31. I feel fine about that.
Is enough to tell you that supplicants to the cult that was once here, that would have been allowed to enter here, would have been told to approach the statue and kneel in worship.
Yeah, so he does that. I think once upon a time, he says as he's very trepidatiously making his way across the stone floor, testing each stone in front of him with his little toes.
Yeah.
In the distant past, they would have expected to kneel to the statue. And he tries, but I don't think he's able to.
To kneel?
Yeah. I genuinely don't think the 1-2 punch of Pharasma and the Shaika will let him bend a knee to Nimbleoth.
Okay, so I was about to ask you too. Do you feel like something changes in do you think Raphael is exuding something that makes the kind of not warns the rest of the party, but it's like, whoa, suddenly they feel like there's a change over Raphael that's he knows more than he should, and they hear what you're saying and they're confident you know it, and it's confusing. You know what I mean? Do you think there's something that's kind of come over him as he comes in and suddenly has this knowledge?
Yeah, I think there's probably a resonance to his voice because it's not just him speaking. It's, the Shaika speaking through him. So there's probably a secondary voice layered underneath it if it were a movie.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, just the voice of the person whose memory it is. So it's sometimes deeper, sometimes more high pitch or different cadence. Ooh.
Yeah.
And I'll even go back on what I said a little bit and say it switches, and it's you're activating something that's farther in the past and in the future. So you're syncopating knowledge from a different time.
Yeah, so it's probably 3 voices stepped, one from the future, one from the past, and his.
Mm-hmm.
One's not in common.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But that's how I always imagine his Shaika-ness, other than, the verbal pictures we painted.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes up with this impossible knowledge, that's what I feel like he sounds like is always this secondary voice speaking harmoniously alongside him somehow.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Would Raphael try to kneel, and let's assume that the Shaika and Pharasma would be opposed to it? Would he try to push himself against that sort of imposing will to try and establish, try and go through the motions and resist them? As in, will you roll a will save to try and make it happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he thinks that that's the way forward, he will fight the Shaika and Pharasma as much as he possibly can, because the people of Otari need protection, and if that means he loses the protection of Pharasma for this little bit, he understands that's what it just takes. So yeah, he's going to keep pushing through.
Okay. Roll me a will save.
32 resolve.
Anyone else come further into this room to back him up? Because everyone's kind of practically out of the room. Just, Raphael
Nick
has
takes a
gone
couple
way
steps
ahead.
forward.
Yeah. Okay. 31, you said? You succeed in resisting something that holds you back, and you find yourself kneeling down onto the floor. And something floods within you as you do this, something that is beyond this room. You feel the disapproval of what you've done for those who have given you the power to be here. And I'm going to give you the minor curse of Pharasma, which will grant you, or will give you a -2 penalty to your initiative rolls. It's not massive. But I am going to give you a bonus to your next. I'll give you a +2 bonus to your next recall knowledge check to perform or to understand exactly this sort of thing for another room on top of it.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Just for the sake of ease, I'm going to add the Pharasma minor boon because it's effectively the same thing. Gives you a +2 status bonus to a single check, but make that check a recall knowledge check with those lores.
Right. Got it.
So you feel like there is a sort of like dichotomy, and there's two sides, this contradictory effect happening on you for your actions. You know the best way perhaps to understand this place is to go through the motions of this place. However, you also know they are one of the ways to put you in the most danger. In fact, you know this in this moment real fast, because as you kneel down, you see green glow begin to emerge from within all of those corridors. Suddenly, if you were to be able to peek within those slit holes real quick, you see 6 of those pop up.
Oh boy.
I'll leave you to describe them as I fix the map.
What if we didn't, though? What if we didn't?
What is this, like a grave white or something like that? Like,
Yeah, it looks like it's specifically Nimbleoth based because it's like lower half is this skirt of like roots and moss, like everything from the pelvic bone down, and its appearance in this fog almost looks like wings too.
Yeah, like it's like got a hooded robe.
got a little cowl, skull face.
Yeah, you have encountered this before. In fact, it's actually not a unique creature as you've suspected here. It is a specter. The last time you encountered this, you thoroughly trounced it thanks to Kraka's quick thinking.
Was that the light?
That was the light, yeah. shone the light on the creature. But these things suddenly materialize within these corridors, and we're gonna roll for initiative.
Put me back in my hiding place by the door.
Yes, so for the listeners, I asked who would move in, and everyone but Harold did. Harold was like, nope.
I was watching our back and knew something would come out of these stupid slits.
To fill in a little bit more for this terrain for the battle as well, where Ruff and Beryl farther to the west near the statue, there is a set of double doors to the north, a single door to the south, and there are single doors that lead into the corridors that these specters occupy right by all that. So basically, at the farther end of the corridors, the western end of the corridors, there are single doors to get in, otherwise there is no access. Let's get some initiative.
35. Everyone don't forget to take your +2 for my scouting lack.
Scout.
I also got a 35.
Okay.
27.
Okay.
Ruff tries to destabilize the timeline and fails.
No way.
Yeah, that's a 3 on the die, so that is 1 plus my initiative, which is currently 13, so 14 plus 2 from scouting is 16 plus 1 from that's not natural is 17, I think.
but then you get a -2 from your curse as well.
The -2 is already factored in. If you look at my character sheet, my perception's 15, my initiative's 13.
Okay, so your total is 17. Thank you.
I don't know if that's not natural. Does that stack with the bonus from scouting though?
It's probably not, because it's usually a circumstance bonus. If they are both circumstance bonuses, then no.
They are both circumstance bonuses.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it would be 16.
Sorry to shit all over you.
Yeah, scouting doesn't stack well with most things that affect initiative. Once in a while, you might get a status bonus to it. Okay, let me roll for all these specters, and we're gonna go. Okay, we get some like initiatives here. Begin combat. First, top of the order is going to be one of the specters, who is going to shoot a spectral blowgun at Nirkaj. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and roll this 4 times. But I think only one of them hits with a 35, the first one.
Mm-hmm. Everything else is below 30, so.
Okay, and you're going to take 21 void and poison damage, and I need a will save from you, please.
31.
31, success. Okay, you take the damage, and otherwise you are good. And we just double check immunity on that. Yeah, no, only on a crit succeed are you gonna be immune to it. Okay, you're good. Otherwise, oh yeah, there is incapacitation. Yeah, so I was looking, and there's also an aura here. My worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and have everyone real quick roll me a will save.
Woohoo, nat 1. I'm going to hero point that.
Poo nat 1.
30.
Okay, what'd y'all get?
39.
39.
34.
34 critical success.
23, turn back the clock, 35.
Critical success. And Nirkaj.
30.
Okay. Regular success, frightened 1. In any case, everyone is temporarily immune for 1 minute. It says to this particular creature, there's 6 of those. I really don't feel like going through those motions. So you're all just immune for now, unless I say otherwise. And on top of that, you got a critical success for the other effect when you get hit, Nick. So I'm going to say, because it was an incapacitation, I forgot it was there, but I actually did do the math in my prep today, and I'm making sure I knew what was up. So you are unaffected and temporarily immune to that for 1 minute as well. That one I'm going to keep track of. So it's this particular one to the southeast that you are immune to. Okay.
Okay.
Beryl, your turn.
Everyone get to this side of the room. I have an idea.
Delay.
Harold will double move. Well, actually just stride 25 feet. Can I see any of the specters from here?
Yeah, you only really get really small glimpses of them within these walls, so they effectively have like greater cover, I think. So they have like a +4 bonus to AC and a bonus to reflex saves.
What I wanted to do is
can't
exploit
melee.
vulnerability.
Sure.
All right, 29.
Success.
I can either go against the resistance. Okay, I'm going to take breach defenses, which gives the -5, but also allows me to use a different feat as well. So I do that, and then as my second move, we'll tuck to the south around the corner so that I am, in the meantime, out of view of the creatures. And just south of Barrel.
All right, that's your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to have one of these specters moves to a new slot and can spot Barrel, and Ruff is going to shoot a blowgun at Ruff for 34 to hit.
Hit.
It's me 18 void and poison damage, and I need a will save.
How much void? Natural 1 on the will save, so I'm going to hero point that.
Okay, probably for the best. 9 of it was void. Half of it was void. And 28 is a success. You're good there. Another blowgun shot's going to go at barrel for 28 to hit.
Miss.
And then another one at rough. And then another one at barrel. Both miss. Next up is going to be yet another one of these creatures who's going to do basically the same thing. But I'll reverse the order. So 1 to barrel, 26 to hit.
AC's 30.
Okay, thank you. Following with a 26 for rough.
AC 29.
29, okay. You guys are beasts. 21 and a 23. Okay, not looking good for these specters.
29 is our floor unless you're counting Inoki, then it's a 28.
Yeah, okay. And we'll go ahead and get a few more of these in. Okay, we'll get... okay, we're going to get 2 more off here, I think. So it's 31 to hit rough. And that's going to be 18 more damage, 7 of which was...
I'll just take one off the top.
Yeah, just one off the top's fine. And then one of them was a natural 20 and a map minus 10 against barrel for only a 28, so regular damage. 15.
All right. I'm going to shield block.
Okay. None of it is physical damage.
Oh.
But I don't think you can block it unless you have a spell blocking ability or shield. So it will be 15 damage, poison and void.
Okay.
These things would have been cultists shooting blowguns. Now they're specters shooting, like, spectral blowguns, basically.
Understood. And then you need a save.
So will save from both of you, please. Yeah.
32.
30.
30 and 32. Both are successes, turn into critical successes. You are immune for a minute. Probably should have done that for earlier for rough too. It's all good. And Nirkaj, it's your turn.
Nirkaj gonna take a stride into the room as instructed by Beryl. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Actually, is there a recall knowledge I can pull out on one of these guys?
Yeah, you can do recall knowledge if you want, or you could ready an action as well. 2 actions to ready one single action.
Okay, yeah, I'll ready an attack.
Okay, in case anything comes at you. Sure.
Beryl will go ahead and step back in.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We have 2 options. I can either block their line of sight so they have to come out here and fight us, or we can just open one of the doors and get the fuck out.
I have no preference.
Okay. Beryl's just going to cast Wall of Stone and block all of the slits so that the incorporeal enemies have to pass through to get to us instead.
I figured you were going to do that. Yeah. I love the idea. It's like, you're like, come here, I got an idea. Everyone starts running, and as they're running, you're like, I have 2 options. Everyone arrives. And
oh, no, like once they got here, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so they can still shoot us even when we're in the corner. So I was like, okay, well,
yeah.
Clearly line of sight, they just are all stacked on each other to do that. So
no, pretty much exactly. Yeah, they started to stack a bit. Yeah, but that being said, some of you did take damage, so I have to take some quicken conditions off, which I'll note meta for you. But yeah, you go ahead and you could do the wall of stone all across all the slits.
Yep, just so they have to come out if they want to keep shooting us.
Sure. Yeah. So you do all across all of the slits, and it's all blocked up, and that's your turn.
Yep.
Okay. And then Raphael.
I mean, I guess he'll move to the door and give it an open.
I like, hey, what do you want to do? I'm just going to go.
So that's 1 move, interact, and I guess another move to move inside.
Okay. Yeah, you jump inside. You can see the eerie green glow of these creatures within the corridor. And that's your turn. Top of round 2. It's going to be one of these cultists. But you don't see what it's doing. Harold, you're up.
Okay. Closes the door.
By the way, does your breach defenses do you still affect all of the
No.
same enemy type in the area?
No, that was a mistake. I thought breach defenses does that, but it does not. That would have been mortal weakness, I believe. Or no, sorry, personal antithesis. But the thing is that it basically would only have counteracted, I believe, their resistance. So this is better, but it only will be for the person that I am targeting, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's not this person.
It's not the one that's the closest to you, that's for sure, yeah.
No, but Harold will step into the room and strike out at this first creature.
Okay.
31 to hit.
Yep.
12 points of damage.
Okay, 12 damage, and you have... Oh, you have Ghost Touch?
No, I shouldn't. Because...
whatever you have right now, it says you have Ghost Touch and Vitality damage.
Yeah, you know what? It's because it thinks I'm striking out at that... Hold on.
Are you sure it doesn't share across... Oh, we've never encountered this. This is kind of odd.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Okay, hold on. Let me read you the feat that it would have been. So it's sympathetic vulnerabilities. When you apply your will to invoke a vulnerability, the result is more powerful and the vulnerability ripples out, blah, 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 blah. It has 2 effects based on the type of vulnerability you invoked. While you have the mortal weakness applied, the strike also apply that weakness against any creatures that has that same weakness, not just the creatures of the exact same kind.
Yeah.
When you have personal antithesis applied to non-humanoid creature, you can apply your custom weakness to all creatures of the exact same type. But I am currently breaching defenses.
Which is, when you succeed to exploit your availability, you learn what the highest creature's resistance is. Be bypassed. If you prefer to choose the following benefit instead, you can choose this benefit. Okay, which is, learn the highest of the creature's resistances that can be bypassed. For example, if a creature is resistant to physical damage except silver. If the creature has one, if you prefer, you can choose the exploit benefit instead of one of the usual 2 benefits. Or okay, got you. And then, so breach defenses is you benefit. You choose this benefit only if you succeed in exploit and learn the creature that has one at least. But choosing one such resistance, your unarmed and weapon strikes bypass the chosen resistance. Okay, I see what's happening. So when you exploit vulnerability, you have 2 options. Breach defenses gives you a 3rd option. The 3rd option is not listed under sympathetic vulnerabilities. I mean, fuck it. We've wasted way too much time on this already. Let's just assume that your breach defenses also works with sympathetic vulnerabilities.
I'll take it.
I'm going for it because I don't want to drag this out any more than we have to, and we've already done. So, just swing.
12 points of damage.
Sorry, everyone. 12 points of damage, but not just that.
Blow.
You've put in persistent vitality damage due to your wounding rune as a result.
Suck it, Spectre. Good Bond movie.
If it ain't raw, I don't care. You have one more attack, don't you?
I have one more attack, but
You're not going to use it?
I'm not going to use it. He steps away.
Okay.
Draw him out.
Tactics from Harold, yeah.
Yeah. Step in, schwack, and then back out. Draw these fuckers out.
The old schwacking back.
And Nick, what do you do?
Nick.
Lose that frightened condition.
Lose that frightened condition for the first thing.
Well, I guess Nick's gonna head in the door, give a schwack of his own. What do we got in here?
Everyone just beelining it back and forth across rough space, just like nudging him into the wall.
Excuse me, Ruff. Excuse me, Ruff. Excuse me, Ruff.
Mind the queue! God damn it!
I'd like to attempt to tumble through on this creature with a 34.
I'm pretty sure that's gonna work against my reflex. Yep. Critical success if there's a benefit for it.
There is, because it's going to be a tumbling strike,
Nice.
which will be your off guard to this strike. A 32.
Okay, yeah, that's a hit.
Okay, and because I'm a tumbling opportunist, I'm also gonna try a trip on ya.
Hell yeah. Critical strike if you nasty.
Or sorry, 32 to hit. Yeah, you're gonna be some damage there.
So 21 damage, 19 piercing, and 2 sonic.
Okay, all goes through.
And I will use acrobatics on this trip because I'm allowed to. A 35.
Crit.
See ya.
Ooh. So you go down and you take, what was it, 1d6?
Oh, that was that was another tumble through you're doing? Okay.
No, for the trip.
Oh, for the trip, sorry. Yeah, I go down, take 1d6. Yeah, roll 1d6. I was half listening.
3 damage.
3 damage. Okay.
Oh shit, actually you take 1 extra damage for between the scales because I hit you when you were off guard. I don't use that enough, between the scales, but every time I hit you when you're off guard, you're supposed to take an extra precision damage.
Oh, okay, cool. But your trip damage doesn't do it. It has no effect because I have resistance beyond 3. So
Fair enough. So that's well, no, it's a stride, and then the tumble through strike trip is all
they were
one
all one
action.
go.
So that'll give me
Damn.
a nice little.
So you got a stride and a strike and a trip all in 2 actions. Is that right?
Yeah. As
That's
far as
sick.
unless I'm reading this wrong, tumbling strike, you do an attack while you're striking, and then the feat
Yeah.
for tumbling opportunist is just requirements. Oh, and I can only use it once per minute. Okay. So it's a free action.
Tumbling opportunist. That's one of your new feats from level 10. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it was a free action once per minute.
It's a free action to do the trip.
Yep. And then third action, I'm going to stab you with an advantageous assault.
Get 'em.
32 to hit.
32 is gonna hit. Yep. So close to a crit.
21 further damage with between the scales.
Perfect. All right. Long but decent turns on this round. Barrel.
All right. Barrel's going to go ahead and step here. And then can see 2 creatures. And so is going to cast Electric Arc. So I need reflex. Oh, wait. Let me make sure they're close enough. Yep. All right. Yep. So these 2 need to give me reflex saves.
Okay. Got a 23, followed by a 20.
That's a fail as well. So it's 64 for 17 points of electric damage.
Nice. Okay. Some doesn't all go through, but
Yeah.
wicked. Okay, that's you.
That is me.
Okay. The creature that is between you and prone is going to. Well, I guess it'll stand up to start. So go ahead and
Reactive strike.
reactive strike in there. Yeah,
35.
that's a crit.
So 42 damage, and you're going to be rooted and all that shit.
Nah, it's destroyed. It's destroyed. Amazing. And then we're gonna go to Ruff.
Shit. I guess he's just gonna get deeper in there.
Why not?
First action
Yeah.
move.
Get all up in there.
Yep. He will get all up in there. Then he'll throw up the spell strike, I think. Second action.
I love spell strike.
Pretty wonderful.
I was playing in Vegas last night. It's so fun.
It's a 39 to hit.
Yeah, it's a crit.
Oh.
See, spell strikes are even better when they
yeah.
crit. God.
34 slashing
Okay. 29 goes through.
and 36 cold.
Nice. Ooh. 31 goes through. Oh, sick. Big old hit.
We have them backed into a corner.
You quite literally do. You guys just barreling down this corridor. And let's see here. So the one you just attacked, it's its turn. It is going to... it's going to start swinging its spectral claws at you. Vile touch is called. 31 to hit.
Uh-oh. Yeah, 31 hits.
Followed by a couple of misses. So you take 15 void damage.
14 void damage.
And Harold, you're up. You're wrecking these guys right now. But Harold, you don't have room to get into the attack right now.
Harold will barrel into the hallway past Barrel, and then now realizes that he cannot get into attack. Will single action swap the cleaver for the returning light hammer, and we'll throw that bitch.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
All right. Oof. 24 to hit.
Clanks off the wall and flies back to your hand.
And that is his turn.
Okay.
5 on the die on that one, folks.
Roots Magoots. And we're going to get one of this other Spectre is going to kind of come up and occupy the same space as its ally. I'm pretty sure I can do that with 2 incorporeal creatures. Correct me if I'm wrong, Graham. And is going to start swinging at Ruff as well. And miss horribly the whole time. Ruff just like, I don't know.
He's too little.
Pretending to parry all of these spectral attacks.
Just like a 9-year-old with a foam sword. Yeah.
It's a Nerf battle. And that's going to bring us to Nirkash, who is even more unable to attack than Harold was.
Sort of. Sorry, I can't see. Is there a space back here?
Yeah.
You, from what you know outside, yes, you would assume so. So
Okay, because he's going to run through and take another tumble through to try to land up right behind them.
Real quick, Dunk, unless you're trying to tumbling strike, you can just move through them. They are incorporeal.
They are incorporeal, yeah. You can't share the space still, but you can just walk through. You don't actually have to tumble.
Oh, okay.
That being said,
Well,
the
he's
tumbling
just gonna-
strike rolling that actually gave you a huge boost last time, so...
Yeah, but I can't use the tumbling opportunist this time, so it's
Right.
just the same deal at this
Yeah, fair.
point.
Yeah, you could just run through.
Yeah, he's gonna do that and feel a little bit weird about it, just kind of passing through a body
No
like
doubt.
that.
Ew, that is
No doubt.
weird.
Yeah, and then from behind he will start swinging.
Okay.
38 to hit.
Which one are you targeting? Actually, they're kind of occupying the same space, so I'm going to roll this.
Yeah, I thought it was like a swarm kind of deal.
Yeah. Okay, okay, I see which one you're going to do. 38 is a crit. Go ahead and roll me that damage.
40 damage.
Okay. You're pretty sure you hit the one that's not been hit yet, so that's disappointing. Go ahead and give me another one.
Oh, 21. That's no good.
No dice. Okay, Barrel, you're up. Short work of these creatures in the southern corridor.
All right, Barrel is gonna mosey on up. Can see both, and we're gonna go ahead and just keep casting Electric Arc because it work. So I need reflex saves from both, please.
Okie dokie. 29 and 28.
Success and failure, respectively, for 13 points of electric damage.
Half and full. Okay, 1 and 8 go through.
That's my turn.
Raphael, you're up.
He will first action Force Fang against the one he was just fighting.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna roll to see if you can target the appropriate one. But yeah,
Okay.
you do.
The spectral hound just launches out of his mouth and bites down for 13 force damage.
Nice. Okay, it's still up. It recharges your spell strike. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll just bonk again.
Go for the bonk.
That's a natural 1, so no bonk.
No bonk. What spell did you go with?
Don't
Don't lie to me now.
Ray of Frost again.
Okay.
Sorry, you're right. I should be calling that before I.
Yeah.
before I roll. Yeah.
I didn't want to assume you were going to waste a shocking grasp on these things, since you're not really in much danger. But
No.
yeah, let's call those out. Okay, and the one that you've been bonking is going to start swinging. Let's go ahead and target rough. 29 to hit.
Meet to beat.
11 void, so 10. Swinging around to hit Nick with one with a 30 to hit.
He will use dodge away to make that a 31, and it will not hit.
Bastard.
Or to make his AC a 31.
And then whoever he swings at next misses. Harold, you're up.
Okay. Harold, clutching the returning light hammer, is going to again try to throw it out. This time using a 2-action Slayer's Strike.
Can I just point out, like, I love, like, when it's each character, each player's turn, you all have a very different approach to how you start your turn, like, vocally. Scott's was like, clutching the weapon in my hand, and then I flashed back to James going, she punch.
She punch.
She punch. All right,
Keep it easy.
Although this probably isn't the right time to use it, I just rolled a natural 1, and I ain't about that shit, so I'm going to hero point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's try that one more time. All right. That is going to be a 35 to hit.
That's a crit.
Ooh, baby.
Let me see which one you target. Okay.
56.
Damn.
Points of damage.
You target the creature that has 2 hit points left.
Oh, that's so rude.
Scott got up and walked away. Oh no, he's letting the cat in. Or out. Okay.
Out.
One of those specters is gone.
Jake was as sick of your shit as I am.
The dice, my friend, the dice.
But that's okay.
What else you got?
You know what? The motherfucking hammer comes back to his hand, and he's gonna throw it again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nope, that's not it. -4 off that. 30 to hit.
30 hits.
14 points of damage. Now, I should mention right now, since the target of his exploit vulnerability is now dead,
Yeah, it's not automating anymore.
you get no more bonuses.
Oh, no more bonuses.
Yeah, because I think that, I mean, you have to have exploit vulnerability active to receive all those extra benefits. And now that I killed that creature, they ain't there no mo.
Oh, no mo. All gone. I'm going to take them off your character. Okay, yeah. So only a little bit goes through. You still have 1 action left?
Nope, that's it, because Slayer Strike is
Nope.
2 points, or 2 actions.
Oh, you used Slayer Strike. Okay.
Yep.
That really was wasted. I didn't even register
Big
that.
time.
Sorry about your luck.
okay.
All right, we're getting a couple more
having
swings
fun.
in here from the Spectre here. We are indeed having fun. Well, I'm having fun. Definitely having fun. Yeah, bunch of swings in multiple directions. No successes. Nirkash, what do you got?
Nick is going to stabbity stab with a 39.
Crit.
That's 28 damage. Oh, not
it's
great
bad. It's a
damage
bad crit.
wise.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
could I get a...
That was all twos.
Can't win them all. Well, we are going to win this fight, but... So, fortitude save, please.
Oh, yeah, okay. Natural 1.
Nice. Okay, so you are deafened for an hour. Good luck living that long. And immobilized because of the
and I'm
rooting.
clumsy. This Spectre has no idea what just happened from this spear of a kobold.
Just
Absolutely
coming up from below and right between the ribs. 29 with a map -5.
29 will hit, yep.
So another 15.
Okay. We go for the hat trick.
Oh, hell yeah. 26.
Hit. 26. You kill it.
Okay.
Dead. Destroyed. You suddenly, like, you've come in to like guerrilla tactics all of a sudden into this corridor, and they just sprawl yourselves out, split your weapons, tossing shit, electric arc going over people's heads, returning light hammers going over people's heads, Nick just ducking and weaving between people's legs and through spectral, incorporeal specters, and Ruff just whipping magic around on his sword, and you all just destroy 3 of these specters in the southern corridor.
That was fun.
And as you funnel out of this corridor to assume you're going to be assaulted by a few more, I'll just go ahead and fast forward the clock a bit, and you go investigate the other corridor, and they are all nowhere to be seen.
I really don't like these disappearing enemies that just keep wandering off. It's like they're all gathering for a large contest of arms later. And it's making me a little bit nervous. I will be preparing some more spells next time we have a rest.
Maybe it's a surprise party.
I like surprises. I don't think I'd like this one.
Well, it's always nice to be an honored guest.
Oh, wait, no. There was something that my mother used to say. Prepare for the worst and every surprise will be a pleasant one.
Smart lady.
Very wise.
There are several other doors here, though.
Oh, that's true. Let's open this one. And Beryl will just point to the one to the south.
I will, if you want to push it, James, allow you another check here, but I'm going to raise the DC significantly to try and get a grasp on the difference between the north and the southern doors.
I don't know if there's a whole lot of value to taking that check, if I'm being honest. I mean, we're going to open the doors anyway.
There is the completionist meta that makes it null and void.
The northern doors are back towards the bottomless pit where they probably put the piece of shit supplicants, and the southern doors are probably to continue.
I think Scott has misunderstood the definition of bottomless, but yep. Let's see where you're at.
I mean, it's just more another access to the fallen.
Do we have a preference?
Shaken, not stirred.
Never for a martini, by the way. Absolutely never. If you do that, you're an idiot.
I stand by it.
Do as you wish with your mixed drinks. I think that we should just open the one to the south.
Okay.
All right.
We open the one to the south.
Okay. Single door to the south. You open to a very small room, 10 by 15 feet. Appears to be long abandoned. There are 2 grime-crusted copper tubs devoid of water that stand against the south wall. Otherwise, you see nothing.
I'd step in, but I won't be able to see anything.
Do we detect any magic?
Yes. Kind of in all directions, actually. Unless you want to remind me how pinpointy it can be at a distance.
Mine can't. Mine's from a feet.
Mine is 5 feet in perfect location. Like all.
Yeah, within 5
60
feet, no. You don't.
No. I know within the 5 foot square within 60 feet.
Within 60 feet, okay. And I always wonder if a wall is, bring that back a bit or not. But yeah, what I'll give you is you detect magic from your position to the southeast. So as far as it within this room, to the southeast, directly to your west, and to your northwest, and to your north.
That's a lot of directions. I believe the spell just says the highest.
Yeah, but you can also, when you know something's there, you can, kind of like ignore it and detect something else. So,
Ruff, it looks like you're bleeding. Let us take a moment and patch our wounds while we think of our next move.
That would be helpful.
I think that we should just keep moving forward. There's a door in here. We can just find more. Unless anyone has a better idea.
Well, at some point we'll need to go back to the Lady of Whispers, no?
I wonder if we fucked that up by not bending a knee to the dread.
I did. That's what caused the spirits to come out.
Again,
True.
James could roll another check if he wants. To reveal more. Only James. He's my special boy on this level. Well, not James. Raphael. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're there. What is it? 34 a bomb.
The test. You're rolling really good on these. It's great. The test is that, unbeknownst to the potentials to join this cult, is that they were to be poisoned, and only those who survived the poisoning were deemed worthy. The worthy were sent to the south, where you are now. This was once a cleansing chamber of sorts. And the unworthy were sent to the north. And by the unworthy, I mean those who died.
Yeah. Yeah. He starts rubbing a paw on the edge of the copper tubs, and that resonant voice comes out. The test was to get poisoned, actually. And those that did not survive were brought to the door in the north. Those that did were brought here to be cleansed. So Beryl is correct. This is the way we should go.
And this sensation, this part of your mind doesn't focus on where the successful went, where those who survived went, though that is important. You know, it gives you a sense of direction. But there is this part of Pharasma, you can feel the essence of Pharasma burning through you that says the dead were taken to the north, but not because they were finished with them. Because whoever built this place had goals with their souls. They had something. They were going to continue to use them. And that really rubs you the wrong way.
But there is a calling to me from the north. I do not think they were finished with the dead, the failures, the unordained. And that I believe they were feeding their souls directly to Nimbalath or something. And perhaps we should cleanse the north door after all.
I am not opposed to this, but perhaps we should finish with the place that we have started.
Either or works for me. But we should investigate both sides.
Yeah, one thing's for sure is there's a more personal pull to the north, but a more objective one to fuck through this south, basically.
Beryl finishes patching up Ruff and casually does like the tussle of the hair. It's going to be okay, Ruff. We're going to cleanse this place and we're going to clean it.
Just imagine Ruff is like a one part like don't tussle my hair curmudgeon, and the other part is like I'm a dog and I love that.
Leg starts going a little bit.
Yeah,
the face is upset, but the tail is excited.
Tail's just wagging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As you say, onward. And he'll step towards the next door in the tub room.
Inoki, come on.
Okay, single door to the east. West.
West.
Fuck, I was doing so good. I was actually really proud of myself
Every time.
earlier. God damn
Yeah, no, you were doing well, bud.
Fuck me. Door to the west. Ruff in the lead, cracks it open. 5 foot wide hallway. Immediately, another door to the west, and then quick jaunt to the north. There's another single door. So real tiny hallway.
West is best.
He'll open the one in front of him.
Okay. You open the one in front of you, and you immediately recognize a teleportation chamber. looks spick and span. It looks absolutely brand new. It looks like it's well maintained almost. It is filled with all the runes. It is absolutely active. No need to roll for the Awakened Portal ritual, but more importantly, on the far end of this chamber, carved into the stone amongst all of the runes on the wall, is the stone visage of Belcora with big sweeping wings, and it absolutely steps out of the wall and into the chamber and straight towards you. And that's what we're going to call it.
Son of a bitch.
Closes the door.
Very
How many golems are there?
All of
So
them,
many.
apparently.
All
They
the
wrote them
golems.
out of the game, but they're all here.
Well, this was before they wrote them out of the games.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, there's even one golem that you guys accidentally skipped, or like you unintentionally skipped, that never saw the light of day. It's great.
Wow, how is that possible?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it one day. When we're finished, I'll talk about it.
The after show.
Yeah. Stemming the Tide is an actual play podcast of the Adventure Path Abomination Vaults and is produced by the Uncharted North Network. Stemming the Tide uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Stemming the Tide is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. Music is composed by Will Savino and artwork by Greyhood. Stemming the Tide is recorded remotely using Foundry Virtual Tabletop. If you wish to connect with us or support this project and projects to come, we can be found at unchartednorth.ca, patreon.com/unchartednorth, and on all major social media platforms. Links to all credits can be found in the episode description and our website. Thanks for tuning in.